It is said, Vusamazulu Credo Mutwa could resurrect the dead. What remedies and plants were he using?
Why do people say that you can resurrect the dead?
It is said that Vusamazulu Credo Mutwa could resurrect the dead. But what does that truly mean? Did people rise from graves? Or did something far more subtle and far more powerful take place? In African ancestral traditions, death is not always the end of breathing. Sometimes, death is when the life force withdraws, when the spirit dims, when hope collapses, when the body no longer remembers how to heal. A person can be walking and yet be dead inside. This is where the stories begin. Among the plants most closely associated with Credo Mutwa's reputation was a humble, bitter shrub from southern Africa, Sutherlandia frutescens, known traditionally as Inwele, and to the modern world as cancer bush. This plant was never used to perform miracles in the way movies imagine. It was used to restore the conditions for life, and to those who witnessed its effects, it felt like resurrection. Sutherlandia was given to people who were wasting away from grief, from exhaustion, from illness, from fear. People who had lost appetite, lost sleep, lost the will to rise in the morning. In African cosmology, such a person is said to have lost their shadow, their connection to vitality. And when vitality returns, people say the dead have come back. Sutherlandia is known as an adaptogen, a plant that helps the body remember how to respond to stress. But long before modern science gave it that name, traditional healers knew something else. When stress overwhelms the body for too long, life slowly retreats. The immune system weakens, inflammation rises, blood sugar becomes unstable, the mind becomes heavy. This is not sudden death. It is a slow extinguishing, and Sutherlandia was used to reverse that tide. Those who drank its tea often reported something profound: strength returning, appetite awakening, clearer thinking, a sense of warmth moving through the body. To an observer, it looked like someone stepping back from the edge. To the community, it looked like resurrection. Modern research now confirms many of these effects. Sutherlandia contains powerful antioxidants that protect cells from damage. It shows anti-inflammatory activity, calming systems thrown into chaos. It contains compounds such as pinetal, which help regulate blood sugar. It has demonstrated antiviral and antibacterial properties in laboratory studies. And importantly, it supports people experiencing fatigue, weakness, and immune suppression. Science would call this systemic restoration. Tradition calls it calling life back. Credo Mutwa did not claim to defeat death itself. He worked at the boundary where life is fading, but not yet gone. In many African traditions, a healer is not one who fights disease, but one who reminds the body how to live. Sutherlandia does not attack illness aggressively. It strengthens the host. And when the host grows strong enough, life resumes its flow. This is why the stories persisted. A person arrives thin, hollow, silent. Weeks later, they laugh again. They eat. They stand upright. What would you call that? To those watching, it felt like the dead had returned. However, these plants are not without wisdom and caution. Sutherlandia is potent. It can affect blood sugar. It can interact with medications, particularly treatments for HIV, tuberculosis, and chronic conditions. Now that we have spoken about Sutherlandia and why it was so deeply respected, let us move into how it was traditionally used. Sutherlandia was not taken in urgency. It was taken with patience. Traditionally, the leaves and stems were dried gently, away from harsh heat or direct sun. This preserved the plant's strength and allowed it to work steadily in the body. The most common preparation was a tea. A small amount of dried plant material was placed into hot water and allowed to steep. It was not aggressively boiled. The tea was allowed to infuse slowly. This method softened the plant's action and made it easier to receive. The tea was taken once or twice daily, often in the morning or early afternoon. Sutherlandia was used during times of exhaustion, emotional heaviness, prolonged stress, or recovery from illness. Small amounts were always preferred. The goal was not stimulation, but restoration. Sutherlandia was also taken as a general tonic during periods, when appetite was low or strength had faded. In traditional systems, it was sometimes combined with nourishing plants to support recovery. One plant strengthened the body, another stabilized the process. This balance mattered. Sutherlandia works deeply within the body. Because of this, guidance was always important. The plant may interact with certain medications, especially those affecting immune balance or metabolism. This does not make the plant unsafe. It makes it powerful. Quality was also important. Fresh, properly dried plant material was always chosen. Sutherlandia was never meant to replace care. It was meant to support the body as it remembered how to recover. This is why stories of resurrection followed it. Not because it reversed death, but because it restored vitality where it had nearly disappeared. This is why traditional use was always guided. Never careless, never excessive. Even today, consultation with a healthcare professional is essential. Resurrection is not reckless. It is respectful. So when people say Credo Mutwa could resurrect the dead, they are not speaking of magic tricks. They are speaking of restoring vitality, where life had withdrawn, of lifting someone from the edge where spirit and body were separating. They are speaking of plants that do not shout, but whisper life back into the cells. This is the first wave. In the next remedy, we explore another plant that works quietly, persistently, and profoundly, one that grows underfoot, often ignored, yet carries the power to soothe wounds both seen and unseen. Stay with us. The plants are still speaking.
If this video resonated with you, and you feel curious to explore natural healing more deeply, you're invited to connect with Health Habits Holistic Care. You can visit the website to learn more, or book an online consultation at your own pace.
This knowledge is shared in the spirit of remembrance. Plants carry wisdom passed through generations, and each body receives that wisdom differently. This information is shared for educational purposes only, and does not replace personal medical care.